Hi, my name is Brian Canton and you're watching my negotiation midterm video. Let's get started with my mistakes.
Mistakes. Location 25%. Salary 25%. Promotion schedule 15%. Vacation time 15%. Performance bonus 10%. Retirement package 10%.
Now that you know my scoring system, it might be apparent as to why I label it a mistake. Half of my pie is between salary and location, so once I learned that my counterparty was not going to be able to stay in San Francisco no matter what, I struggled to determine where I could create value for myself. Because I labeled the location of such high importance, I hadn't prepared of the possible scenario of not being able to achieve what I wanted, which was obviously for him to stay in San Francisco. You might think that touching your face isn't all that big of a deal, but imagine what it could turn into if I keep touching it.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's gonna need to be a lot more than that. At least $50. No.
If Geneva's gonna be doable, I would be willing to stick to the 16 days. Would you be willing to bump up the 16 days vacation to 20 and accept those two other terms? Yeah.
As you saw, I agreed to 20 days of vacation when the counterparty previously said he would do 16 days for the same exact thing, so clearly I need to listen a little better. I wish I had made a note of when he said this.
Salary at 110.
In my instructions for the negotiation said that my company typically does a 10% annual increase, but I later learned that salary was of no interest to my counterparty. I offered a premature concession, whereas I could have log rolled the situation and used it to my advantage.
Strategies.
I can guarantee you a promotion in the next 6 months in San Francisco,
Okay.
and I'm willing to even throw in that performance bonus of up to 100% if you stay in San Francisco. Other than that, those are the only incentives I can provide. I can't provide those in Geneva. You're this young guy who comes in with the same salary and same performance bonus as people that are maybe 8 to 10 years older than you. That's going to demotivate the rest of the employees. I definitely understand, but like you said, if she were to come to the United States, that might mean losing that same type of status or power that she might have in Geneva. And that is exactly the situation you're in, where I can't promise you the same status or power with a relocation, but I can give you that promise here in the United States.
It is important to share your own perspective as well as take the perspective of your counterparty during a negotiation. It's also important to use situational perspective taking to perhaps take your counterparty away from the table. I used a cognitive consideration of a viewpoint to try to create a common enemy with my counterpart, given that his wife was going through the same thing that he was. I was able to use this aggressive negotiating tactic and almost use threats to try to get my point by because I understood that we both wanted to resort to each other more than our BATNA.
So can I ask what makes you like working here, given that you have another job offer? If I relocate you to Geneva, how do I know if you're going to want to keep working for me and not, browse around the market again?
Given that I had negotiated with this employee a year ago, hypothetically, I thought it was necessary for some proof of life if I was going to make any large concessions in a new contract. If I'm going to spend my time negotiating with this employee, I at least want some assurance that I'm his top option for employment.
Last time we agreed on 16 days. To achieve those goals, how does salary at 110, then performance bonus 30%, and retirement package in 10% of salary and stock options set.
I used anchor points in some situations where I felt it would be important for myself to have a psychological advantage.
Geneva is the one that, compared to London and Paris, there's no direct opening right now. But in terms of the other issues that we discussed with your contract, I can do my best to pull some strings to get you in Geneva, but it's going to be a lot that I'm asking for my counterparts over there.
I understand.
But I'm definitely willing to negotiate that as we continue on through this discussion.
Okay. So I would at minimum prefer to have you vouch for me and say to get the promotion in a year still. Is that doable?
It depends on what you think about what I just laid out for vacation, performance bonus, for performance bonus, retirement, and salary. Okay. I'm just really having trouble with the location just because San Francisco is really where you need you. So I'm just trying to think of how to make this work.
Yeah.
Because again, this isn't typically a precedent that this company does in terms of negotiating and renegotiating contracts.
Yeah.
So this is already a big favor I'm doing for you.
I reminded my counterparty the subjective magnitude of my concessions that I was making and that I wanted bilateral concessions. This was absolutely necessary for me because my opponent came off as concession averse, which makes sense because he was trying to get his aspirational goals.
You mentioned your fiance and how she accepted a new job.
Yes.
Would you know if she's able to negotiate to relocate to the United States? No, I completely understand wanting to be with your fiance. I just want to clarify that your fiance has expressed no interest in coming to the United States instead of you coming to Europe.
I excelled with probing and using diagnostic questioning to help learn where the interest and the value were for my counterparty. Additionally, I was able to help myself understand why my counterpart couldn't stay in San Francisco.
So obviously we're meeting to discuss the outside offer, and I want to cut right to the chase. What can I do to keep you in San Francisco? You definitely have a future with this company, especially staying in San Francisco, but you made that clear that that's not really a possibility, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if there was something that we could do to make you stay in San Francisco, I'd love to hear what we could possibly do, because you were expecting promotion within the next year. So, and we had really enjoyed your work.
I'm glad to hear that, brother.
Since I was sharing my interests, I created trust with my counterparty, which also helped lead to an integrative deal. Through this, we found that we both wanted the same thing. That thing being the employee staying with the company.
14 to 16. We'll compromise. What do you think?
I mean, 14 to 18, I just prefer, so I don't want to tell you one thing and it have to be another.
Yeah.
Never fall for the meet in the middle ploy. You don't want your opponent to take more of the pie.
Insights.
My main insight from this negotiation is how much time is actually necessary to prepare for a negotiation. The only way to avoid making small or silly mistakes is to be over-prepared. By over-preparing, you're going to be ready for any possible situation that you might encounter. I learned that I probably need to over-prepare for a lot of my negotiations to be successful. Watching myself negotiate in this video really helps me understand that a skilled negotiator would destroy me in a negotiation situation. That being said, I recognize that I'm a skilled questioner and can come up with creative solutions in times of pressure. My role as an individualistic negotiator really showed during this negotiation. This is because I'm naturally suspicious, which meant that a lot of the negotiation was spent trying to get the counterparty to think through things my way. Essentially, this suspicious view of people meant that I needed to know every single reason as to why my interest could not be satisfied. Interpretation of this suspicion is subjective, but I personally feel that it is a strength. My suspicion enables me to fill all the gaps of knowledge in my head and really understand the depth of the situation.